Ngiyabona kuleli cala likaSenzo lo mfana wokuqala uNtuli uphuma osuthu ugwetshwa iminyaka odilika jela kwawu6 wabulala ngisho ikhansela uNyembe kaNongoma. So kulaba abantu mazi kahle ugwetshwe odilika jela abayisithupha kodwa usakwelinye icala lokubulala.
KwaZulu-Natal's stunning landscapes hide a violent underbelly, earning it the title of South Africa's contract-killing capital. Here, professional assassins, known as IZINKABI, operate with chilling efficiency, settling political scores and taxi industry disputes with bullets, not words. They are tools of power, hired to enforce dominance and silence rivals, their presence woven into the fabric of local life. For many young men facing poverty, becoming a hitman is seen as a path to respect and financial reward, even as it perpetuates a cycle of fear. The most notorious among them become legends, their names whispered in fear. From this world emerged one man's name who spread fear from Ulundi to Nongoma, Fiso Ntuli, known as Mnguni, a man whose arrogance and disregard for life made him infamous. He would become the ruthless KwaZulu-Natal's hitman, terrorizing communities and casting a shadow over the nation. Ntuli's story is a chilling look at how desperation and violence can create monsters. His rise reveals the deep wounds in a society where murder becomes a business. Ntuli was shaped by the violence of northern KwaZulu-Natal, especially the deadly taxi wars in Ulundi and Nongoma. In this world, disputes over routes were settled with assassinations, not negotiations, creating a constant demand for skilled killers. Ntuli learned early that violence was a currency of power, and he quickly gained a reputation for being methodical and remorseless. His nickname, Mnguni, reflected his defiance and fearlessness, traits that set him apart in a brutal environment. The taxi industry was just the beginning. Local politics, rife with corruption and deadly ambition, offered even more opportunities for contract killers. Ntuli became the go-to hitman for those seeking to eliminate rivals, his work marked by cold professionalism and emotional detachment. His reputation alone inspired fear, making him a symbol of the impunity that defined KwaZulu-Natal's underworld. He was more than a killer, he was the ghost in a violent machine, thriving where law had failed. In a society ruled by the gun, Ntuli's rise was both inevitable and terrifying. He became the face of a system where murder was just another transaction. Ntuli's name became synonymous with death, as he orchestrated a series of calculated assassinations across KwaZulu-Natal. His killing spree began in 2015 with the murder of Butiza Sandisa Malobo, executed with trademark efficiency. In 2016, Ntuli was hired to assassinate ANC councillor Thami Goodwill Nyembe, shooting him dead and critically wounding Nyembe's wife, Nolwazi. Nolwazi's survival would later prove pivotal, but at the time, it exposed Ntuli's ruthless approach. No witnesses, no loose ends. In 2017, he murdered 3 Zulu brothers, not for power or money, but simply because they were potential witnesses. Each killing sent a clear message: silence is survival. By 2018, Ntuli's reputation as an enforcer of fear was cemented with the murder of Swamandla Zungu. He was no longer just a hitman, he was the guardian of a code of silence, ensuring secrets stayed buried. Every murder reinforced his legend and deepened the community's terror. Ntuli had built a fortress of fear, making himself nearly untouchable. Ntuli's true power lay in the silence he imposed. Witnesses too terrified to speak, communities paralyzed by fear. The murder of the Zulu brothers was a public warning: talk, and you die. Law enforcement faced a wall of silence, not from apathy, but from a rational instinct for survival. Ntuli and his employers operated a parallel justice system, where betrayal meant death. His presence was a constant, menacing reminder that the law could not protect you. This psychological warfare created a state of helplessness, where submission was the only option. The silence was a collective scream, a community held hostage. Breaking this culture of fear was the greatest challenge for investigators. Justice would require not just evidence, but trust and real protection for those brave enough to speak. Only by piercing this shield of silence could Ntuli's reign be ended. The turning point came in 2018, when a dedicated political task team was formed to tackle KwaZulu-Natal's contract killings. Ntuli became a prime target, but the real challenge was breaking the wall of silence built on fear. Investigators re-interviewed witnesses, built trust and offered real protection, focusing especially on Nolwazi Nyembe, the survivor of Ntuli's 2016 attack. Her courage inspired others to come forward, slowly dismantling Ntuli's fortress of fear. The team pieced together cell phone records, ballistics and financial evidence to build an airtight case. In 2019, Ntuli was finally arrested, shattering his aura of invincibility. His capture sent shockwaves through the underworld and gave hope to communities long terrorized. The stage was set for a trial that would expose the brutal realities of KwaZulu-Natal's contract killing industry. Justice, though long delayed, was finally within reach. In October 2021, Ntuli faced justice in the Pietermaritzburg High Court. The prosecution laid out a chilling case: 6 murders, an attempted murder, and illegal firearms, each tied directly to Ntuli. Survivors and victims' families led by Nolwazi Nyembe bravely testified, breaking years of enforced silence. Their voices, once stifled by fear, became the prosecution's most powerful weapon. Judge Charmaine Balton found Ntuli guilty on all counts, calling him a ruthless assassin with no regard for life. In December, Ntuli was sentenced to 6 life terms plus 39 years, with parole only possible after 25 years. He showed no remorse, remaining cold and defiant to the end. The verdict was a rare moment of accountability in a region plagued by contract killings. For many, it was proof that even the most feared could be brought to justice. Even as Ntuli was convicted, his name echoed in another high-profile case: the 2014 murder of soccer star Senzo Meyiwa. Initially called a botched robbery, the case frustrated the nation for years. When new suspects were charged in 2020, Ntuli was named as accused number 5, amplifying his infamy. The Meyiwa case transformed Ntuli from a regional terror to a national villain, fueling speculation of a contract hit. His conviction for other murders made the public more willing to believe he was behind Meyiwa's death. The ongoing trial keeps Ntuli's shadow alive in the headlines, shaping his legacy as South Africa's most notorious hitman. Whether guilty or not, the association has cemented his place in the country's dark folklore. The ghost of Senzo Meyiwa will forever haunt Ntuli's story. Ntuli's case exposes a thriving industry of contract killing in KwaZulu-Natal, driven by political ambition, business rivalries, and poverty. The taxi industry remains a primary battleground where assassinations are routine business expenses. Local politics too is deadly. Positions mean power and access to wealth, and rivals are often eliminated with a bullet. For the killing is just a job, detached from motive, serving those who want to keep their hands clean. The cycle of violence is fueled by economic desperation, with young men lured by money and status. Illegal firearms are plentiful and the supply of hitmen never runs dry. Ntuli's conviction is a victory, but it barely dents the system that created him. For every hitman jailed, others are ready to step in. Real change demands tackling corruption, regulating the taxi industry, and offering real alternatives to violence. Ntuli's story leaves a chilling mark on South Africa's conscience. His conviction is a rare triumph of justice, but it exposes the deep wounds of a society where violence is a tool of power. For years, Ntuli and his employers operated above the law, ruling through fear and intimidation. The prosecution restored some faith in justice, but the conditions that allowed Ntuli to thrive remain. The culture of impunity is wounded, not defeated. Ntuli's story forces South Africa to confront the normalization of assassination as conflict resolution. He is a product of a system that has failed its people, leaving them vulnerable to predators. The fight against organized crime is about more than jailing hitmen. It's about dismantling the networks and fixing the society that breeds them. Until then, the shadow of Mnguni will continue to haunt South Africa.
Kubulawe ummeli eCape Town eminyakeni emithathu ehambisa izingane zakhe esikoleni ekuseni, bamkhofa ngesibhamu ekuseni, baboshiwe abantu abambulala bathatha baseshowe, basuka le bayobulala umuntu eCape Town, abayazi leCape Town. Emva kokumbulala abanangisho imoto yokubaleka bayogibela itekisi, sibabamba esiphepa stop. Ungasuka la yobulala umuntu lo yogibela itekisi, usumbulele. Bathathu abaseshowe, basejele ababili benzudikile. Ubulawe ijiji la lendi yethembisa la kwaHealth. Esibabambile ababoshiwe bawu6 abasemnambithi. Angiyikhuluma le ndaba isuse ekhaya, ngisuse ebalweni. Ukuthi la khona bulawa khona umuntu, khona ezakithi.